stopping here. Remember, it's very important in the yin practice to have the space for rebound, for observing sensations. So we observe those sensations when we actually let go of the pose. Hi everybody, my name is Eli and I'm very happy to have you here in another class for beginners in this beautiful practice of Yin Yoga. Today we're going to be practicing twist, these great movements to squeeze the internal organs and to give a massage to our torso, to our spine as well. So we're going to find our way to dragonfly. So we're going to open our legs as wide as they feel comfortable to open up. If you need to bend the knees, please do so. Maybe having with you some blankets that you can roll and place underneath your knees. And also have with you, always that we practice yin, you want to have a pillow or a cushion if in case being on the floor, seated on the floor is a little bit hard for you. So take a few moments just to land here on this pose because we're going to add a twist very soon. Your toes, no need to hold them in any particular place. Allow them to drop in or out or wherever they naturally will go without activating any muscle. So to add the twist, we're going to bring the left hand to the right thigh and the right hand behind you. So we are using our hands a little bit as leverage without actively aiming to twist the torso. It will naturally happen. We're going to stay in this twist for a minute and the neck can follow. So you can keep gazing back with the neck. Remember to find the edge, that space where the asana starts changing something in your physical body, okay? Don't go beyond that because the practice of yin, which teaches is to surrender to the pose and to slowly start entering into this practice of holding poses for longer. For now, in these classes that we have been practicing for a while now, this program for beginners, we are practicing only 10 minutes holding poses for 1 minute each. Because my aim with these classes is for you to start training your muscles, your connective tissue, and your nervous system in this new style of yoga, new to you maybe. Good. We're going to start coming out of the pose, very softly coming back to the center. Stopping here. Remember, it's very important in the yin practice to have the space for rebound, for observing sensations. So we observe those sensations when we actually let go of the pose. Once we have experienced that for a few seconds, we're going to start moving to the other side. So bring your right hand on top of your left thigh and your left hand behind you. We're going to place also the neck following the torsion that is happening in the thoracic spine. We twist from the middle part of the spine. This is the part of the spine that is meant to twist. And no need to keep pulling you anywhere. Just use your hands as leverage and allow the time that we are holding the pose to do its work. Also try to be as still as possible. The second principle of the yin practice is stillness. Stillness of the body, of the mind, of the breath. Because we are stimulating tissues that don't necessarily like to be stimulated in active, dynamic, repetitive ways. So we hold the poses for long and longer periods of time. Good. Time's up. So we're gonna gently start coming out of the pose, stopping in the center. Observe, feel, be aware. And then we're gonna help our feet, our legs, to come together. We're gonna find the back of the mat coming into child pose. So for this child pose, we would like to open the knees as wide as the mat, sinking your sit bones down, trying to sit on the heels. You may reach, you may not, and it's okay. We're gonna keep the right hand in front of us, and we're gonna pass the left hand in between and placing the posterior part of your shoulder, your left shoulder on the floor, and your left ear on the floor as well. This is a wide knee child pose with a twist. A long name for a beautiful pose. It's a forward fold that is also stretching and working with the muscles of the glutes, the lower back, while the mid back is in this twist, giving this contraction to one side of the torso and this stretch to the other side, working with the oblique muscles. You may want to close your eyes when we are in these poses. One of the elements that we bring into our practice is the silence, which we haven't experienced that much because I'm using these classes to give you information about the yin practice. Softly and gently, we're going to start coming out of the pose, stopping in the center to observe, to feel. Keep your left hand extend in front of you, and now start moving your right arm underneath, trying to place your right shoulder on the floor, your right ear on the floor, and allow the gravity to pull you down, to pull down your hips towards your heels, whether they touch or not. Allow your right shoulder to sink down, whether it touches the floor or not. Try to feel heavy. That's the idea. You're not holding yourself up. You are surrendering to the gravity. That is one of the biggest start in Yin Yoga practice. Gravity is the one softly, gently, gingerly pulling us down. And this is how we start experiencing other limits, other edges in our physical, mental, emotional body. Good. We're going to start releasing the pose, stopping in the center. Remember to stop, to feel, to observe, especially when we have been practicing asymmetrical poses. Good. Now we're going to very softly bring one knee at a time and lean to one side just to come to a seated position. And in this seated position, just bring your knees towards your chest. It's like when we do this knees to chest pose when we are on the floor, but now we're seated. Maybe you want to bring your forehead to the knees. I don't want to do it because I will squeeze the mic, so you will have a very horrible sound. Just rounding the spine. And we're going to come to another twist, but this time we're going to be on the floor. So make your way to the floor. Keeping your knees together, because keeping the knees together, we're going to now shift the both legs together towards the floor. We're twisting now. Before we were changing the level of the shoulders in relationship with the level of the pelvis. Now we're doing the opposite. We are changing the pelvis in relationship with the shoulders. At the end of the story, this is what a twist is. When these two structures change, the shoulders in relationship with the pelvis. So now allow the pelvis to move, the knees to move down, whether they touch the floor or not. And you can use your hands, open your hands in a T position, and allow the left shoulder to move towards the floor. Maybe it's off the floor. It's okay. The twist they will depend on so many factors. Now the knee, you can have them close to your chest. When we bring the knees closer to our chest, we are twisting while flexing the spine. Another way to do it is keep the knees level with the hips. That will keep your spine in a more neutral position, or we will be practicing in other classes when you move your spine in a back bend while you twist. For now, choose to have your knees level with your hips or a little bit closer to your chest, which is what I'm doing here to add this flexion of the spine as well. Good. We're gonna use the strength of the core to bring the knees back to the center. Again, stopping in this center for a moment. Before start shifting let me just shift my hips to the right while we allow the knees to drop to the left. And we stay here for a minute. Again, I'm going to bring my knees a little bit closer to my chest. So I'm twisting, but also I'm flexing my spine. So it's not as neutral, it's more going into a forward fold, which is just changing the orientation of the spine while you twist the thoracic spine. I was saying before that in these classes we haven't practiced much the silence because one, we're holding the poses for a little shorter than we will normally do once we advance in our practice. And two, I'm using these classes to give you information about the yin practice, some tips, benefits of the poses, how to modify what parts of the body we are stimulating. So I've been talking a little bit more than I usually talk in my classes, but I want you to have as much information as you need as practitioner of Yin Yoga. A few more seconds here before using the strength of your core. Not everything is completely relaxed in Yin in a practice. Nothing in life is completely Yin or completely Yang. Now we're going to finish the class by squeezing the knees to the chest. Same as we did when we were seated. But now we are on our backs. Just give it a nice squeeze. It's okay if the bum comes off the floor. Usually when we practice a similar shape in vinyasa, we are pulling the knees to the chest, but we are aiming to actively send the buttocks down to the floor. But Yin Yoga has a different intention, so the way we practice is more important than what we practice. Good. And you're gonna keep the knees bent because we're gonna roll to one side. This is the best way to get up when we are on the floor, using your hands to come back up, finding your way to a comfortable seated position. And here we finish the practice of today with this twist that we did for the spine to stimulate our organs, to squeeze the organs. Keep yourself hydrated because we are going to be flushing toxins. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I will meet you back here tomorrow with another class. Take care. Bye-bye.